Alright, welcome back everyone. This video covers day 8 and it's polynomial long division. Let's start with the warm-up. It says in the space provided, divide 3105 by 11 and answer the following questions. Alright, so let's go ahead and divide that. So we have our divisor is 11. It goes on the outside. The dividend is 3105. First, you're going to divide 11 into 31. That goes 2 times. 2 times 11 is 22, and then you subtract. 31 minus 22 is 9. Then you bring down the 0. Now you're going to divide 90 by 11. That goes 8 times. 8 times 11 is 88. Then you'll subtract. 90 minus 88 is 2, then bring down the 5. Divide 25 by 11, and that goes twice. All right, 2 times 11 is 22. Subtract, you get 3, and 3 is going to be your remainder because there's nothing left to bring down over here. So your answer would be 282 and 3/11. That's your remainder over your divisor. All right, so answer again is 282 and 3/11. And we want to recognize the process that we went through. First we divided, then we multiplied, then we subtracted, and then we brought down the next term, and then the cycle just repeated itself. So we have a cycle of dividing, multiplying, subtracting, and then bringing down. And we continue that process until the end. All right, so let's use the same process of dividing, multiplying, subtracting, and bringing down with long division of polynomials. So here in number 1a, we're taking the polynomial x cubed minus x squared minus x minus 2, and we're dividing it by x minus 2. So our divisor is x minus 2, that goes on the outside, and the dividend goes inside. That's the other polynomial. All right, when you're dividing, the way you do it is you take the very first term of the dividend, which is x to the third, and divide it by the very first term of the divisor, which is x. So that's x to the third divided by x is x squared. You'll put that at the top. Now you're going to take this x squared and you're going to multiply it by the entire divisor. That is x squared times x and also x squared times negative 2. X squared times x is x to the third, which you write on the next line. And also x squared times the 2, or the negative 2, is negative 2x squared, which you also put on the next line. Now you draw a line and now we're going to subtract. When we subtract, it's going to be x to the third minus x to the third, which will cancel out. And then it's going to be negative x squared minus negative 2x squared. And that's going to change the sign. That negative 2 will become positive 2. So we have negative 1x squared plus 2x squared is going to be positive 1x squared. So that's 1x squared. Then you bring down the next term, which is negative x. And we'll divide again the x squared by the x term. X squared divided by x is positive x, which you put at the top. Now you'll multiply this positive x times the entire divisor. So x times x is x squared, which you write on the next line, and also x times negative 2x is negative 2x. Okay, now we will subtract. And when we subtract the x squared from the x squared, that cancels out. When you subtract the negative x minus the negative 2x, the minus 2x will change to a positive. So that becomes positive 2x. Now combine these terms. We have negative x plus 2x is going to be positive 1x. Okay, now let's bring down the next term, which is minus 2, and now we divide again. you're dividing this 1x by the 1x from the divisor. Well, x divided by x is just positive 1, and you place it at the top. Take this positive 1 and multiply it by the entire divisor. So 1 times x is x, which you write on the next line, and 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. When we subtract, the 1x minus x cancels out, and negative 2 minus negative 2, that'll change to plus 2, and that cancels out as well, so your remainder is 0. And so our answer, our quotient, is what we have here at the top, and that is x squared plus x plus 1 with a remainder of 0, which we will leave out. Okay, so that is our solution. All right, let's go on to part B. Our divisor is x squared minus 1, and let's put in our dividend. All right, once again, you are dividing the very first term in the dividend by the very first term in the divisor. So that's x cubed divided by x squared is going to be x, which you put at the top. Now let's multiply x times everything in the divisor. X times x squared is x to the third, and x times negative 1 is negative 1x. Notice that there is a gap in between here, and so what you might want to do is go ahead and put a plus 0x squared as a placeholder there. Next step is to subtract. That be the x cubed becomes minus, and that cancels out. This would become minus 0, and 3 minus 0 is still 3, so that's going to be 3x squared. That comes down. And you're also subtracting this negative 1x, and so that becomes plus 1x when you subtract it. And these two terms will cancel each other out. So you end up with 0x there, and then you just bring down the very next term. And that is the minus 3. All right, start the division over. That is 3x squared divided by the x squared from the divisor leaves you with positive 3, which you put at the top. Now let's multiply this positive 3 times everything in the divisor. So 3 times x squared is 3x squared, which you write below. And at the same time, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, which you also write below. And now we subtract. The 3x squared becomes a minus, and that causes the 3x squareds to cancel. And also, when you subtract this negative 3, that's going to turn that into positive. And then those 3's cancel out, and so your remainder is 0. All right, so then we have a quotient of x plus 3 and a remainder of 0. And so our answer is just x plus 3. All right, and here is C. Our divisor is 2x plus 3, goes on the outside. Our dividend is 8x cubed plus 27, but here's where we must be careful. We have to have a placeholder for every exponent from the highest to the lowest. So starting with the 8x cubed, we must have a placeholder for the x squared term. So we're going to write 0x squared. We also have to have a placeholder for the x term, so we're going to write 0x. And finally, we put 27 on the end. So again, very important that you have exponents from the highest to the lowest, so you have to insert placeholders for anything that's missing. Let's begin division. We'll start with 8x to the third and dividing it by 2x. And that's going to give us 4x squared, which we put at the top. We will then multiply this 4x squared times 2x and also times 3. So 4x squared times 2x is 8x cubed, which you write on the next line. And then 4x squared times 3 is positive 12x squared. The next step is to subtract. Subtracting 8x cubed will cause those terms to cancel. Subtracting 12 from the 0 would give you negative 12x squared. Let's bring down the next term, which is positive 0x. Now we go back to division. Dividing negative 12x squared by 2x is going to give you negative 6x, which you put at the top. Let's multiply this negative 6x times 2x, and we'll get negative 12x squared, which you write on the next line. Now let's multiply negative 6x times 3. It's going to give you negative 18x. Right, now we're going to subtract. When you subtract, the negative 12x becomes positive, and it causes the 12x squareds to cancel. At the same time, the negative 18x is subtracted, and that becomes positive 18x. So 0x plus 18x is positive 18x. Then we bring down the 27. Now we divide again. You're dividing 18x by 2x. It's going to leave you with positive 9, which you put at the top. We're going to multiply this 9 times 2x. That's going to be 18x, which you write at the bottom. And then 9 times 3 is 27, which you also write at the bottom. Now we're subtracting the 18x and also subtracting the 27. Everything cancels and your remainder is 0. So our answer is the quotient up here at the top, and that is 4x squared minus 6x plus 9. That is our answer. All right, this concludes the Day 8 lesson on dividing polynomials. Let's remember the 4-step process of dividing, multiplying, subtracting, and bringing down, and go ahead and complete your Day 8 homework. The Day 8 homework is just for the long division. In our next lesson, we'll look at a specific case of dividing polynomials that will offer a shortcut.